What is up, aliens and fairies? I am just a simple Newtype, and in this episode we're returning to Argento Soma. Last time, Kaneshiro became Soma and joined Funeral in order to destroy the beast that he created with the help of his girlfriend and his professor, who were both killed in the process. A girl named Hattie is the only one who is able to communicate with the monster called Frank, or X1. Funeral used her and Frank to help fight aliens. This time, Funeral uses a weapon that changes the alien's molecular density. Frank goes inside a giant alien, and the government doesn't need no excuse to commit war crimes. So let's get into this. Soma and Simmons are thrown in jail. This episode is a flashback recap episode disguised as Soma stealing intel. In the past, Soma is talking to Mr. X. He is very much like Mephistopheles, offering Soma a deal with the devil. Soma has to be a spy and steal data on the Zarg for Mr. X. Simmons finds Soma being very shady. Much of the intel of the Zarg discussed last video comes from this episode. We learn that zones were created after the first Close Encounters War. In the center of these zones is the Pilgrim Zone, which the aliens seem to be attracted to. This is located in Colorado according to this graphic. Simmons gets a video message from his sister who wants him to talk to their dad. Bro, this prison food is looking good. Soma gets a newspaper that shows that his old classmates stole his alloy and took all the credit. Sue tries to steal a little girl's jacket. In the past, Simmons tries to talk to his dad. You get this really long, dragged out scene for dramatic effect, but it just doesn't work and it feels like a long, dragged out Tim and Eric sketch. Dan thinks his dad is a loser and leaves for the military, but promises his sister he won't die. We finally see how they end up in jail. Simmons saw Soma being shady and started throwing fists. Then he accidentally sets off the fire alarm. An alien threat approaches, so they are released from the brig. We see flashbacks of the Close Encounters War. These are Hattie's nightmares. They have once again lost Hattie. The team splits up to search for her. Frank hasn't moved, so she is still in the facility. Soma eventually finds her. During this episode, we learn about Lana Ainz. She lost a daughter, I assume during the Close Encounter Wars, and she has been suppressing her maternal instincts since then. Hattie has brought out her maternal instincts. They find her in a tower and she almost falls, but she is saved by Soma. From that day on, Hattie lives with Lana. The show gets all David Lynch for a second. Simmons dropping coffee makes Soma think of an idea to take down the alien. They run a test by shooting it. The round goes through the alien and it heals. He then fires again. The rounds deflect off its head this time. The alien adapts and evolves to the situation. It can manipulate its molecular density. This type of alien is called the G4. Kaneshiro and his love of metals came out a little bit, and Guinevere notices. They need to get through to its armor and change the molecular structure. Is it armor or skin? It does this through vibrations. They give Frank Excalibur. Funeral calls this Operation Tuning Fork. Frank rushes the alien, but it is able to deflect the attack. Guinevere realizes that there is a vulnerable spot around the shoulder. Frank goes in for a second attack and is able to destroy the alien. The team tells Soma, "You and Frank make a great team." This infuriates him. Hattie is starting to warm up to living with Lana. "Damn it, Funeral, I want a cold beverage, but you only have hot ones." Guinevere says that Lana's baby-making genes are kicking in again. The mass media seems to know about X1, and they want to leak it to the public. The government seems to have someone on the inside leaking intel. If things get out of hand, Lana could use the nuke in Frank's head at her discretion. She tells the team of the spy, and Simmons instantly blames Soma. They aren't going to use X1 for a while. Soma says, "No problem, the Zargs can use Excalibur." However, Frank escapes once again. Funeral heads out in Zargs to intercept. While intercepting, Soma says, "Whoops, something's up with my balancer," and he crashes into Simmons, causing him to need repairs. "Get out of here, Dio, you're running Soma's Keikaku." Soma intends to kill Frank with Excalibur while no one is looking, but he attacks and attacks and attacks, and Frank continues to get up. Now up to this point, the show has been kind of Alien of the Week, but during this, Soma has been getting through every situation with brute force. Frank gets up and completely ignores him. This is a metaphor for Soma's grief. He is trying to handle the loss of Maki by killing Frank, but brute force isn't going to work. He has to deal with his lost love another way. So too do they have to handle Frank and the aliens differently. The show changes from this point onward. I really dig the attempt at giving genuine character growth with the Monster of the Week concept. But 10 episodes to get to this point is a lot in a series that is only 25 episodes to begin with. Might want to tighten up that message a little bit. Shows during this time were very slow and methodical. There's a lot that I miss from this era, but this is an example of something I'm glad doesn't exist anymore. Frank was ultimately triggered by a bomb and acts completely normal after it goes off. Soma, on the other hand, He's the monster. Mr. X laughs at his hatred towards Frank while the monster completely ignores him. It's ironic and a reminder that he is always replaceable in this weird situation that he got himself into, where background checks apparently are lax. Funeral gets word of a new alien approaching. This one is 200 meters tall and has 1,000 times the density of your average alien. We will learn that this is a gigantic type alien. They use their global satellite defense systems and fire on the alien. They scout to find that the alien is barely scathed. Funeral moves into action. I just want to point out that every once in a while the show cuts to a guy in a control tower saluting. This is definitely a filler shot. This might be the first time that we see all 4 Zargs in action at once. Simmons attacks and does the "I celebrated too early and now I'm getting wrecked" cliche. Frank made Soma depressed last episode, so he has been relatively useless. Frank comes in to save the day. Over the course of the past few episodes, we see Frank's arm glows as it punches. His arm seems to be able to alter the molecular density of the things it touches. But even this is no match for the giant alien. The alien is heading straight towards HQ. Lana orders Captain Heartland to activate his nuclear football. Everyone is ordered to retreat. The two activate the nuke, but nothing happens. They learn that the nuke is a dummy. The military seem to care more about Frank's life than Funeral's life. Lana tells the team the mission is over. Time to go to Cleveland. Cleveland? Okay. They have one last card up their sleeve. But first, we have to get Lana on board through motivation and the power of teamwork. She's sad as the Zargs launch. They also prep their trump card, the Fafnir. If you ever thought, what if giant particle accelerator, but weapon? This is it. Get on Fafnir's level, CERN. They fire the weapon at the alien. But once again, it does nothing. The alien says, "Excuse me, that was rude," and fires back at Funeral HQ. They lure the alien in and fire again, creating a giant hole. Why does it create a hole this time? Frank jumps into the hole and punches it from the inside. It heals and swallows up X1. For a second, Soma thinks, well, problem solved. But Frank bursts out at the alien. The Zarg team takes off their limiters, which unleashes some sort of sonic weapon, I think. Then, while the alien is incapacitated, Frank gives him a punch. Also, what's the difference between Frank's Falcon Punch and the Excalibur? Heartland was injured during the attack on HQ, but was playing it cool the whole time. Frank is badly injured, but he self-heals and will be back to normal soon. This next episode is mainly a bunch of bureaucrats arguing over the future of Funeral and X1. This all seems to be political theater to make it seem like the alien efforts are going well. There doesn't seem to be any specific reason for why the aliens are heading towards Pilgrimage Point. The government believes that if the aliens converge at that location, it will trigger an apocalyptic event, though this seems to just be fear-mongering since there is no science behind it. The military higher-ups think that the aliens are in an intelligence-gathering phase and are about to attack, while others think this is just to rile up defenses without understanding. Pretty basic stuff here, not breaking any grounds from a philosophical standpoint. While they argue, the leader of this assembly asks Lana, who has been on the front lines and is watching this meeting from the back. She says humans and animals attack when backed into a corner. We don't know what happens when we just leave them alone. Lana suggests not that we are the ones who started this fight. Lana thinks that many lives have been uprooted because of the aliens, and that brings out the worst in people. The government brings in a scientist to essentially tell them that there is no data regarding Pilgrimage Point and the aliens. Oh hey, this guy is wearing an alien tie. He's a believer. He even looked into mythology, but it went nowhere. The government says, well, if there isn't a justification for war crimes, well, it's too late. We're in too deep now. I'm Johnny Rico, and I say kill them all. They really said, we need evidence to justify war. Then they brought in someone and said, well, you know what? Actually, we're just gonna start war. I mean, it's pretty spot on, I guess. Lana tries to talk again, but they say, excuse me, the men are talking here. Everything at this meeting is classified, but Mr. X was able to get the intel out and provide it to Soma. And that will do it for this episode. We see the anger and the hate slowly build up in Soma. Closure for him is killing Frank to seek vengeance for Maki, but he is slowly learning that this isn't going to make him feel whole. Hopefully now we will see the plot start to move forward. Next time we will see internal conflict with Funeral. Someone from Soma, or I should say Kanashiro's past, comes to Funeral, so Soma desperately tries to hide his identity. But that will do it for now, fairies. Remember, the land of the fairies don't exist. Tell that to every little girl you run across. Break their hearts. Peace.